Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
Good, good. We are here with the Austin Lucas Hour, just talking about anything that we feel like talking about. I mean, that was a great interview we did with Terry Attaway at the earlier show, but it's such a pleasure to be here with you again with our own radio and maybe TV show. I understand we're going to be we're already on the World Wide Web. So my son over in Greece is listening to us, and friends down in South America, Europe, but now we're on YouTube too.
I love it. I know your son is enjoying some good lamb kebabs and baklava, and I hope.
Yeah. No, he loves it. He's a big kid. He's about 6'3". He's a big time professional volleyball player.
And is he single?
Single, yeah.
Single and traveling the world with a volleyball team. I was going to say that our fantasy, Jim, I think you and my really is that we're wearing our hats and our chaps and just kind of loafing along out amongst the saguaro cactus as a couple of cowboys, but that's now been replaced with being a single world traveling volleyball player. For me.
Well, he really is a stud, and Chris was on the national championship for the University of California, Irvine, 2 years in a row. He's a setter, and he's got the 2 world champion rings for NCAA. And I said, son, you're a stud, so I'm the dad, so that makes me a stud also.
Now, when he was making that decision to go to college, did you want him to go to Howard like you did, or was he sports bound for California?
Well, I did. I did want him to go to Howard University, but they don't have a men's volleyball team, So he chose volleyball. Matter of fact, I almost had him at TCU to be closer to me. Came out and said, Dad, I love the campus and I would do it, but they only have a female volleyball team. So good for him. He went to junior college and went on to college, got his degree, and writing a book right now. So he's happy, and he's coming back to the States in May, and he'll be here in Fort Worth. We're going to do a little reception for him.
He's got those 2 rings.
And hopefully, since I've been writing that check for all them years, that he'll get that ring out of the safe deposit box and let me wear it around so I can say, hey, yeah, I'm a stud.
That's what I'd want to do, wear that around and just kind of, make up a few little things maybe with it. Be kind of interesting. Might get you some entree here. Folks, you're listening to the Austin Lucas Hour on JimAustinOnline.com. I am Mark Lucas Kelly with Williams & Lucas Funeral Home and Lucas Funeral Homes. Jim Austin is real estate guru and really Cowboys of Color Museum, Heritage Museum. Tell me a little bit about your endeavors other than real estate that are really more communitarian and historical.
Well, I grew up born in North Carolina, raised in Jersey, joined American Express upon getting my degree from Howard, came here, was a corporate guy, and decided that I was an entrepreneur. Got into commercial real estate, been doing that for about 33 years, but 2 great parents, my mom and dad worked 2 jobs that afforded me 4 years of college education. It took me 6 years, so I got that call from Mom, money's run out, you got to get a job. So that's when I pulled it together and got my degree. But one of the things that I discovered when I got to Texas about 20 years ago, that half the Cowboys were African American. This kind of took me by surprise because, everybody plays Cowboys of Indians, and to find out that over 50% of the Cowboys were African American and Hispanic. So my wife, Gloria, and I started a museum about 15 years ago called the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum. And we're the only museum in the world that gathers information about the history of our great heroes. We have about 80 heroes in our Hall of Fame. We get nominations from all over the world. And right now, we're getting ready for the National Day of the American Cowboy, which is the fourth weekend in July. So that weekend, we will do our Hall of Fame rodeo in the stockyards on the 25th of July. We'll also do our Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday at the River Ranch. And we'll meet tomorrow to finalize the inductees for next year. And we've got some great ones. We have great ones every year. So what we do is highlight the accomplishments of the forgotten cowboys.
And where is this museum? Where can people go?
You can please visit cowboysofcolor.org, hit our website, but we presently are at 3400 Mount Vernon Avenue, just 2 blocks north of Texas Wesleyan in Fort Worth, Texas. When you go to the museum, you will see saddles and paintings and pictures of famous cowboys. Famous cowboys, Bill Pickett, Bass Reeves, a black United States Deputy Marshal, Stagecoach Mary Fields, a black woman that carried the mail in Montana. So you go back, Murtis Dightman, Charlie Sampson, the first world champion black cowboy in bull riding. So there's a lot of history there. It's about 5,000 square feet. And we've got some exciting news. We have 10 acres on the corner of Martin Luther King Freeway, and there we will be building our future museum. There we have the Buffalo Soldier Campground and Ranch House. We have the Pam Grier. The brothers, y'all remember Pam Grier.
I love Pam Grier. I just watched her in an old movie called Coffee about 3 weeks ago on Retroplex one night. I'd never seen Coffee. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Oh, badass nurse who was wanting to, for those of you that don't know that movie, her sister in the movie had died of an overdose from some, unscrupulous drug dealers, and so she was going to seek revenge. And her boyfriend was a corrupt guy that was running for city council. And I'll tell you what, till you've seen a young Pam Grier as a nurse wielding a double-barrel shotgun, seeking revenge, you just haven't lived. She was so hot.
Well, I'm a guy, I finished high school in '69. I was in college in the '70s, and Pam Grier was my all-time, girlfriend. I had the poster and the deal. And then to meet her and find out she's a cowgirl, and she was in town for a book signing tour, and I got the call, and they said, "Hey, would you like to sponsor the Pam Grier book signing tour?" I said, "Let me check with my wife." And I checked with the wifey, and the wifey said, "Yeah, you can do that, Jim." So I sponsored that. So while she was here for 4 days, I spent a lot of time getting to know her, and then to come to find out she's a cowgirl just blessed my heart. So all the stuff that I was just learning about, she already knew. Matter of fact, she had been talking to Hollywood about doing a movie about Bass Reeves and Stagecoach Mary Fields, and she wanted to play Stagecoach Mary Fields. But my all-time favorite movie was Jackie Brown.
Oh well, yeah, me too. I love Jackie Brown, but the production value and stuff of Coffee, wasn't near what Jackie Brown was, but it was a good film. And I saw an interview with her not too long ago. I didn't know that about her either. She lives on her own little ranch, has her horses, and she's like can do. She'll go out, chop the wood. She's a really fascinating, mellow, spiritual lady. It's great that you got to spend 4 days with her.
Well, she came that 4 days, then she came back 4 more times, and when I met her, I picked her up in a limousine, and we went to my museum, and she got there, fell in love with the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum, and from there, we went out to our 10 acres, and she said, "Stop." So we got out, and I had never walked to the back of the 10 acres. So I had my boots on, so we walked back there, and she said, Jim, I believe in good health, good eating habits. She said, you need to put a community garden out here. I said, well, Pam, if you would put your name on that project, it's done. So what we did is we cut the deal, shook hands, and then we now have the Pam Greer Community Garden in
Really?
Southeast Fort Worth.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, she's a real movie star.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
up there, I love Pam Grier.
Oh yeah.
There's no other Pam. There's only one Pam Grier.
Well, you talk about Lena Horne, then you talk about Pam Grier.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
So
right. I mean, Diana Ross maybe in the singing area. She acts. She's a pretty good actress too.
yeah.
But maybe she doesn't have the chops Pam Grier does as far as that's concerned.
Well, you look around my wall and you see some of my friends that I've hung out right back there, Mark. So you can see Mark Cuban, Emmett Smith, Farrakhan, and up there in the corner is Miss Pam Grier. So right there, third from the
I
side.
see her now.
You
I
see
got
her?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my buddy. I got the home number and the cell number. So you want to call her when we get through at the show?
Heck yeah, we got to chit chat with her, get her back out here.
Well, we are so excited. We have the Buffalo Soldier Campground. We have the ranch house. We have the community garden. And we have a 38,000 square foot boarded up shopping center that was given to us by the Bolger Foundation. Probably 15 years ago. Well, we're getting ready to start a capital campaign to raise money to move the museum over on the freeway. We're on the corner of Martin Luther King Freeway and East Berry. And God gave me this vision to put in an archery range. Because we have the land. We're going to do an indoor-outdoor archery range on the corner of Berry and 287. And go ahead and move the museum over there in a couple of years. Please visit the website, Cowboys of Color, World Wide Web. Let us know if you'd like to make a contribution. We've got opportunities for naming rights. We're writing some grants. But I don't know if you know this, Mark, but kids in the inner city know very little about archery.
Oh, yeah, well, they don't even know much about Cowboys of Color.
Exactly.
Really?
So what we're going to do is we're going to put an indoor-outdoor range, and we're going to teach our inner city kids how to shoot archery. They can go on to win scholarships to college, and lo and behold, 10 years from now, we might have someone on the Olympic team. I was told by somebody the other day there's a lot of money for inner city minority kids to learn about ranch rodeo management. There's a lot of money for kids to learn about archery, particularly women and women of color. So we're gonna work that mojo.
I had no idea. Well, we got to get those people connected up to those resources. So if you're listening now and tune in to JimAustinOnline.com, look at the contact numbers and get a hold of Mr. Austin, and let's educate and get kids connected to that. I had mixed race family. Thank goodness, thank the Lord. My niece married Tony, and so I was out last night to dinner with my just turned 18-year-old great nephew, Justice Xavier Wilson.
Xavier,
handsome mixed race dude, and I was telling him, I reminded him when I took him to a boot store to get boots when he was little, and he didn't know about the percentage and statistics about Cowboys of Color or anything, but he's working at Starbucks right now. I'm getting ready to go to junior college unless he goes somewhere else. And they were talking about this campaign. I didn't even know. I guess Starbucks tried to kick off a campaign about race matters, or let's talk race. I guess, and I didn't know anything about it. My mother, his great grandmother, knew about it, and I thought, combining that discussion last night with what we're talking about, the whole education and awareness of the West and the Cowboys of Color and as the race discussion that so many people are afraid to engage in because of fear when we need to really engage in it, I think that this whole multicultural cowboy issue could play a big part in the whole race discussion myself.
Well, the world is multicultural.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
and our mission at the museum is does not matter the color of your skin, but whether you were a good cowboy or a good cowgirl. You know, so it's an important subject, and we were doing diversity training for Sam's and Walmart. You know, it just came out. We do tours, and one day we were over there, and we had about 20 middle managers over there just sitting around talking about the diversity, because Sam's is and Walmart family is the second largest employer, second to the United States government. And when you walk into Sam's and Walmart, it's diversity between their management, their employees. They're one of the most awesome companies in our country. So what we would do, Gloria and I would have them in for an hour, tell them why we started the museum and the importance about diversity, and then we'd bring in a diversity trainer for 2 hours, and we did that for 5 years for Sam's Walmart. I'm talking to Daryl Duncan, one of the regional managers with Sam's, and we're talking to them about redoing that. But they were just awesome partners as sponsors and all. But yeah, so that's a whole nother subject. I want to bring my wife, Gloria Reed Austin, on the show to talk a little bit more about the educational aspect. But please visit Cowboys of Color. Send Gloria an email, gaustin@cowboysofcolor.org. Send me an email, Jim A. at Jim Austin Online, telling us if you like the show, telling us if you don't like the show. Let me know if you like me or Mark better. I need to know that, because, Mark's a sharp cat, and, he's the host and I'm the co-host.
Well, I don't know about that. He's just being gracious. You're talking about those. I didn't know that y'all did those diversity classes. That's good to know. I'm going to embark on an endeavor here shortly of trying to host some death cafes, is what they're called. It's a movement that's been going around the nation. As you know, I'm a funeral home guy, and that's multicultural as well, because everybody dies, no matter what what race, what ethnicity, or where you live. And but people are, just as they're not really, the majority of folks are not as aware as they should be of the multicultural history of the West. Many people have a lot of myths about death, about hospice care, about what happens at a funeral home. And we all are going to die, and so instead of really learning about it, a lot of people just don't deal with it until that time comes. But people are interested, and Death Cafe is really nothing more than people that are interested in getting together and splitting up in groups and talking about why they came and around those death issues. And then, I and maybe a couple of other learned people will facilitate that, because there's a rash of interesting websites that have come out recently centered around death, that, some of them go back to the history of it and how different cultures have handled it from ancient Egypt on up through now. But part of my mission is to educate and debunk the myths, or it shouldn't be so mysterious. Really the number one thing is just to, when that life ends, celebrate it. Find out the funny, humorous, interesting stories, like if you were to pass away, from your son that we just talked about. Find out how you moved him, how you taught him, the funny things that you did, the times that he got in trouble with you, and have whether it's a funeral or a homegoing or a celebration of life, whatever you want to call it, it should be meaningful and reverent, but it should be funny too.
And Mark, that's a very interesting subject, and I'd like to be included in those conversations, whether I'd like to offer you the host of here at the Austin Plaza or the Austin Event Center.
We could have a Death Cafe here for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that because my mom passed away, and I don't want to get too jerked off about that, but she passed away about 13 years ago. And something new to our family that she was cremated, and I never thought that as an option. So my dad, he set his side. He's 90 years old. We had his celebration of his birthday on February the 9th. He turned 90. So I talked to him this morning, and just truly a blessing. But I lost my baby girl, Ashanti Monique. Her picture's there on the wall. And Ashanti looked just like me, just like my oldest boy, James III. But, that was a very tough time for me, losing a daughter.
Sure.
So there's a lot of discussion that we can do about that. And, we're celebrating life, you and I here.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
but your business is, you're never going to be lost for clientele because all of us are going to meet our maker, at some point. But we'll have some more discussion about that. I think this has been another good show. I think we're kind of winding down. I want to make sure that all of you know about my monthly network mixers. The next one will be April the 8th here at the Austin Plaza, 7:45 in the morning, and Bruce Raven's bringing a program on how to market your build business. Next month in May, we've got the county commissioner, Glenn Whitley, and we keep it going on. Yeah, Glenn will be here, and then we're getting ready for the Jim Austin Online Golf Tournament. If you're a golfer, I'm a golfer. You a golfer?
I'm a hacker. I used to go out and, I'm going to say hack because it really wasn't golf, but I could get through with some guys. And it's been so long now, I haven't even picked up clubs that I am going to make a point to take some lessons, get some clubs, just so I can put together a foursome. I'll be the comic relief.
Yeah.
And I'll get some ringers so I can participate in these things.
Well,
because right now it wouldn't be pretty.
Well,
Be like a Jerry Lewis movie.
We've got a month, and that's how I learned. I play in tournaments. I don't go out and play just in foursomes with buddies. I play in scrambles.
They won't let me go out and play in foursomes.
Okay. I think I'm on that same list as you. But April the 20th, Terra Verde, we're teeing off at 1:30. You can go to Jim Austin online and register, and it benefits the Multicultural Western Heritage Museum and the Lady T's of Dallas, 35 women of color that play golf. So they're partnering with Jim Austin. So on April the 20th at 1:30, when you get those 3 ringers, and you go for the prize, it's just a lot of fun just being out there on a Monday. So hopefully check your schedule. I know you're a busy, busy cat, but thank you so much for taking out an hour of your week to come join Jim Austin for the Austin Lucas Hour.
You bet. It was all of my pleasure to be here. And I'll just touch real quick on what you talked about cremation. Within my family, I don't think anyone ever really did that, but all of that has changed. In our businesses now, we're performing about 40 to 45% of our business is cremation. And the state average is 45. In the big cities on the coast, it's up to 70%. So the nation, the cultural changes in how people do the final disposition has really changed. It's starting to get about 50-50 from burial to cremation. So it's just another cultural change that the good old nation is going through. So I'm thrilled to be here. I wish I could play. I'll try and get it together enough to play golf with you. I have sponsored a couple of holes at the Cowboys golf course for the Grapevine Rotary. They have a golf for grads that's coming up. All the money goes to the schools out there. So I'm just dressing up as a turn of the century Undertaker with a top hat, and I'll have a wreath out there that says "Rest in Peace" as I sponsor the longest men's drive.
Well, we're so excited to have you as a new advertiser with Jim Austin Online. I think you signed the contract today, and right now we're just approaching about 20 preferred advertisers on the site. And if you're looking for an economical way to get the word out about your company, please reach out to Courtney M. at Jim Austin Online. She handles our social media and director of advertising sales, and we're just really excited about what the website and the connection with our advertisers and what Jim Austin Online is all about, letting you know what's going on in North Texas. So please tune us in, where our show is Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and on Sunday we replay it on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Or tune into Ladora Frank's show, the Jazz Sojourner, and she's doing a special with Kenny G. You remember Kenny G?
Absolutely.
So she's doing a second part. He's got so many hits. I think he had like 65 million CDs sold. I mean, just a phenomenal.
Yeah,
artist.
I heard a real funny interview a few weeks ago with a saxophone player, and it was on public radio, and he asked the sax player, do the sax players like Kenny G? And he said, well, the only reason they don't like Kenny G is because he makes so much money, because most sax players don't make any money.
That's funny. That's funny. What we're going to do, we promise you, we're going to go ahead and invest in another mic, so we're not sharing the mic, but it's a growing process. We're here sitting in Jim Austin's office and just having some fun. But if there's something you'd like for us to talk about, or if you'd like to come on the show, send us an email, jima@Jim Austin Online, and let us know what you feel about the show. I don't see our engineer. I don't see our videographer. I think we're just in here by ourselves.
Lost in our own mind and our own fantasy, hoping that we're reaching the globe here with JimAustinOnline.com. I think we're getting close to wrap-up time here, but they may have just left us. Maybe we walk out and nothing even exists out there, like that. Remember that old film? What was it? 5. I think there were 5 people left on the face of the earth or something. Ever thought about that? I mean, I wonder what that'd be like if I can't remember what Will Smith's film was.
Oh, yeah. With his son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was it.
Yeah, that was a solid movie. I enjoyed it. It didn't make any money.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It probably made enough on Reynolds or something. But
sure.
Yeah, was it? It didn't go anywhere box office.
No. He put his own money in there, and it didn't make any money. But
I went to the theater and saw it. And got my money.
And maybe you and I can do a film. You used to be a movies.
Let's not say movie star. Let's say an extra with a few small speaking parts. We'll just call it that.
Well, maybe we can take a look at it. We're trying to do a movie on Bass Reeves, and we talked about that, a documentary, but maybe we can figure it out, because those movies, if you do it right, make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think we need to go get on our plane and consult with Pam Grier.
I think so. I think maybe, she lives in Denver. She has a 50-acre ranch out there. She has a lot of dogs, and she works with handicapped children, and all. But she's such a giver and such a beautiful person, and I just want to tell her thank you for partnering with my museum. And we're excited about maybe having her come back for the ribbon cutting of the archery range. And we're having some discussions with some donors, and we are looking for naming rights. You can put your name on a bow, on an arrow. You can put your name on something, but please visit Cowboys of Color and make a donation for the museum so we can keep operating. I know I write a lot of checks personally, and we just try to keep the lights on, but it's a great project for our children.
Excellent, and kudos to you for doing that. Archery, what a great, not even around anymore, hardly. I mean, it's around, but not near the amount of people could probably wield a bow and arrow that could at one time.
I went up to the Cinnamon Creek Ranch archery range, just up by Alliance, and I was just totally blown away. All the they had 5 competitions over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All of them were sold out, and these little kids, 8, 9 years old, wheeling the bows. It's very safety orientated, but just learned so much from that. So very excited about, if you're an avid archery person, please reach out to us. But this has been another great hour with you, Mark, and thank you for being my friend. And I'm so excited about this hour, just getting to share with you. And today was another great show.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
And we'll see you in the World Wide Web. Just check us out, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all later.
Bye.
All right, we got it.
Good
I
stuff,
knew
too.
there was an archery range up there.
Yeah, it's up